Good morning, guys. It is far too early. We are gonna go upstairs for a 7 o'clock breakfast, and then we are packed and out of here by 8 o'clock in the morning. And then we've got a lot of driving to do, a lot of places to see. We're gonna go on a tour later today, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so we went to breakfast as usual. There was passion fruit there today, guys. I was so excited. It's one of my favorite fruits. Delicious breakfast with a gorgeous view as usual. But it was our last morning here, so we had to say goodbye to this crazy freaky stairwell outside of breakfast. We went back to the room to grab our stuff, and then it was time to head out. We said goodbye to this lovely hotel and goodbye to Athens for now. We're going to come back for one more day at the end of our trip, but for now, this was the end. So we hopped in a van and headed all the way to the airport, saying goodbye to the last of the beautiful Athens streets, which was so sad, but glad we're going to be coming back for one more day. So we headed all the way to the airport and grabbed our luggage, and then it was off to the rental car center inside the airport because we are actually going to bring the rental car back and then get on an airplane. So we picked up our rental car and got in, and it was time for our adventure to Nafplio. Mom and Dad punched in the address and we were off. We drove ourselves this time, which was a lovely little treat, and we drove through a lot of these beautiful orange trees. The views were beautiful as we came up on these really gorgeous mountains, and we were in this really beautiful valley. As we were driving up to Mycenae, we could see the ruins over there if you look really closely, which is very exciting. We got out and we met our guide, and she took us to the tomb of Agamemnon. So Agamemnon was an entirely fictional character, but this tomb did exist, and the scale of it is hard to even describe. I tried to get people in the video so you could see just how big it is, but it's a really, really impressive feat of art. What's crazy about this is that we actually don't know how they got these large stones here to build this. And this was built long before the Parthenon and all of the other archaeological sites that we've already seen. This here is the treasury of this tomb, and it's connected to the rest of everything, and this was just a really cool place to see. But then it was time for us to make our way out back into the hot sun. It was really hot today, guys. I mean, absolutely scorching. I definitely got burned a little bit today. Here you can see the Acropolis of Mycenae. If you'll remember from my past vlogs, Acropolis means edge of the city, and it's usually the highest point in a city. So it was the religious center, and it's also where the king and queen lived. And over here is where it is in relation to that tomb that we just saw. So then it was time for us to drive our way over, just like a hop, skip, and a jump, to this new archaeological site. And we pulled up. It was kind of hard to find a parking spot because it was a little bit touristy today, but we ended up finding one, and then it was time for us to walk our way over to the museum that they have there, which was small and quaint, but still had a lot of really beautiful stuff to offer. These views, guys, were just gorgeous all day. I could not get over them. The mountains, the site, the valley, everything. You can see all of those orange trees that I was talking about. And the first cat count of the day. I've had a request to count how many cats I see in a day, so that's number one. Here is a second tomb that unfortunately caved in, unlike the other one, but we made our way down to this cute little museum, and there were a lot of school groups in there, which made it a little bit crowded and a little bit full of people and loud, but our guide was spectacular and was able to show us everything inside of this museum. We got to see a lot of religious artifacts, but also a lot of everyday life artifacts, which is, again, really crazy because this civilization is just so much older than all of the other ones that we've seen. Here you can see a model of what the actual kind of castle on top of this hill would have looked like. Where the guide is pointing to right now is a meeting space where they would decide the fate of their villages, what they would do. They made a lot of decisions there that were very important. Here you can see a lot of pottery. Anything that was painted back then was used for burial purposes or religious purposes because they knew that pigment was actually toxic, and our guide mentioned that they did lose a lot of lives because of pigments before they figured it out. Here is what the entrance of that tomb that we saw earlier would actually have looked like when it was painted, which is very impressive. And here you can see, it's actually a cast, it's not the real one, but the mask of Agamemnon. Again, he was totally fictional, but we do have this mask which was placed over him, hypothetically, in his burial tomb. Here you can also see some jewelry, which was quite shocking because it almost looks modern. It almost looks like you could wear this today. And you'll see those symbol of octopuses, all over all of these vases, and in their symbolism, it was a symbol of wisdom, since an octopus has 4 brains, I believe. Here you can see a lot of the jewelry. I was really captivated by the jewelry. It was really interesting to me how it seemed almost modern, and it was super delicate and super beautiful. And here you can see some rings with the bones in them. That was really creepy, but I had to include it. And here you can see what they used to communicate textually. They did not have a writing language, but they did have pictures that they could use to measure quantities and stuff like that. Again, here's some more jewelry and some loom weights, but then it was time for us to head to see the actual model of this whole hill and all of the Acropolis. Here you can see the castle where the king and the queen lived, as well as a burial ground and a lot of religious center buildings. It was a really interesting layout to see. But we made our way out of the museum and headed up to the actual archaeological site, which was really exciting. Cat count number 2 of the day. Cat count number 3 of the day. And here you can see the archaeological site. Again, gorgeous views all day of these orange groves and these valleys. It wasn't too crowded, but it was definitely very hot up there, especially in the sun. This is the entrance to the site. It was guarded by 2 lions whose heads have unfortunately been lost, but the rest of their bodies are still there, which was definitely cool to see. And here's what the gate looks like from the inside. And on the inside, the first thing that you see is this burial ground. This round sort of circular shape here encompassed 19 bodies. Dog count number 1. Apparently there's a dog for every archaeological site. That's not true. I'm just guessing because I've seen so many of them. Very cute. So these were some more religious buildings that were nearby to the burial ground. And then it was time for us to make our way up, and up. It wasn't too steep of a climb, but everything here is paved with marble, which seems strange to us because marble is so hard to procure in the States, but here it is everywhere. So they use it to pave everything, including sidewalks, and so everything is very slippery. So you have to be very careful when walking up these paths. Here we were able to see the actual layout of this beautiful palace, castle. I'm not sure what they actually considered it back then, but really cool to see just how large everything actually would have been. It was a lot smaller than I imagined, but I imagine that's perfectly normal for the time, especially considering how early in history this was built. Another fun fact about Mycenae is that it was named after mushrooms. When people inhabited this land, it was much wetter than it is now. It's not as dry as you see in these videos. So there was a river running through this beautiful valley and lots of mushrooms. So they named it Land of the Mushrooms. So we were able to come down kind of the back side of this mountain. Again, more beautiful views and that beautiful little museum. But it was time for us to make our way to the beautiful city of Nafplio. We said goodbye to these rolling hills and exchanged it for a beautiful view of the sea. Guys, I can't even explain to you how crystal blue-green this water is. The camera does not do it justice, no matter how many videos of it I tried to get. It is so much more green and beautiful and sparkly in person. Nafplio is a beautiful city full of lots of yummy places to eat, cafes and taverns and picturesque buildings and cute little shops. And it's not tourist season, so it wasn't too busy. Here is a castle on top of a hill that is way, way younger than the archaeological site we saw today. Here's our hotel room. It is so cute, you guys. I get this cute little nook over here, and through this window I have a gorgeous view of one of the town squares, which is so beautiful. And over here, you're gonna have my parents' side of the room, which is, of course, just as gorgeous. And there's this crazy mirror that turns into a TV, which I think is absolutely bonkers. And then we are able to make our way over to the shower, and then we make our way outside. This terrace, guys, is absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, the jacuzzi is not functioning, but that's all right. We're headed to the beach tomorrow, but we have a beautiful view of this castle and another one over here, and a gorgeous view of this little square courtyard that's full of shops and beautiful views, of course. Guys, I'm gonna spend all of my time out on this terrace. It is just too beautiful not to. But then we got ourselves a little lunch treat, which was delicious as always. The Greeks make wonderful food. And then it was time for our tour of Nafplio. We got a lovely tour from a local, cat count number 4, from a local woman, and this is an original wall from the first building of the city, which is really crazy because, again, it is a very old city. We got to see this cool war museum, and we got to check out some of the buildings. Some are more historical than others, but our guide was able to point out all of the major parts of this city. And here are the marble sidewalks, guys. Crazy to us and super slippery, but really great. Cat count number 5, 6, and 7. You can't really see the third kitten, but I promise it's there. And then we made our way to the original gate into the city, which used to have water flowing under it, but not anymore. They filled in the land. This is cat count number 8, and then you'll see cat count number 9 coming up. There she is. Cat count number 9. Very sweet kitty who was very used to humans, very clearly. But we made our way through the city and got to look at some of these really old buildings, and I could not get over how picturesque it was here. But this is the site of the assassination of the first governor here, and actually in the wall you can see the bullet hole that killed him. He was actually both stabbed and shot, but that's where the bullet ran into the wall. Cat count number 10? Yep, that's cat count number 10. Oh, cat count number 11. We made our way through the city some more, looked at picturesque alleys, cute little shops that were around. We got to see a lot of churches that were from a lot of different eras of the city when it was under different occupation. You can see the third castle that's here. That's the back of our hotel there, and this is the square that I have a view of in my room. Coming up, you'll see a clip of a hotel that's actually on top of an archaeological site, which is so sad. It was built in the 80s when they did not know better, but we eventually made our way through the streets and down to the sea, guys, which was so beautiful and so crystal clear. And this fortress is over there, this fortress castle, which is one of the 3 very famous ones that are here. And guys, this port was absolutely gorgeous. Again, there's that other castle. Hey guys, we are back at the hotel, and I'm gonna cut the vlog short here. We're gonna chill a little bit here, maybe go out and get some dinner at a nice seafood place since we are so close to the water. There's lots of fresh seafood. And tomorrow I will not be vlogging. It's our day off. It's gonna be a free day. It's gonna be a chill day. Not really worth vlogging, and also this is a lot of work to put these up, so I'm gonna take a break from it myself, but I hope you're enjoying these, and we will see you guys in the next one. Hey guys, so I actually lied. I am coming back at you just to give you a little snippet of the end of our day because it's too perfect to not show you. I'm reading my current book, Stone Blind, which is a retelling of the Medusa story, which is very fitting for where we are. And my current view, the castle is all lit up, and then down there is the town square. We just got back from dinner. I'm gonna read some of this book, finish editing this video, and send it out to you guys. But yeah, I will see you guys in 2 days.